So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Moise Khurram and I'm the founder and the CEO of Leadamax. So today in this video, we're actually going to be doing some sort of a review and a podcast with one of my account managers here at Leadamax, who basically manages all the outreach in terms of the email as well as LinkedIn. It will basically include all the details about our agency, how we operate, what are the campaign strategies that we use, and you'll get to know everything about our agency, that is Leadamax. So let's get started with it. Just got a quick question before we get on with other processes, and could you please just tell me about, because I genuinely want to know how you guys normally operate, but I'm not sure about how you guys qualify leads before booking appointments. Could you please tell on that as well?
Yes, absolutely. So this will be a quick demonstration of our process and how we can help you. So really what we're focused on with our clients is helping them expand their pipeline, helping them grow their pipeline, acquire new customers. From that, increase their annual recurring revenue, and then ultimately raise the valuation of their business. So in the name, right, to help you guys grow your revenue and to help you guys grow your customer base. That's what our focus is, and that's why we have certain qualifications in place for the types of clients that we're looking to work with that we feel like we can actually help the most, because we don't want to take on clients that we can't help what you currently have in place and what your needs are. But essentially what our thesis is we see that once your B2B software company reaches the point where you have a validated product, and a validated product means you have validated use cases, right? And in your case, you have those use cases. You've been doing this for many, many years. You have customers already that are paying you right now, and you've served a lot of customers in the past as well to help them solve their problems. That's number one. Number two is, to that same point, right? You have case studies and you have those use cases built out, and you have a market who needs the product that you sell. So I think in that sense, and just to confirm, does that sound pretty accurate and where you feel like you're at?
Yep, that's completely fine.
Perfect. So really what we need to do is now focus on how do we generate new demos, right? How do we get more people in the pipeline? How do we get more people seeing what you have and in a conversation with you?
All
And
right.
the reason for this is very simple, is that new appointments is going to open up the door for the new acquisition of customers. The new acquisition of customers is going to help us increase annual revenue. And then from there, we're going to be able to raise the valuation of the business. So it all starts with that first demo. So far, do you have any questions about anything?
So do you guys only do outreach, or is it more about inbound, or is it about outbound?
So typically what we do is we use outbound as the main mechanism to generate new leads. We could set up advertising campaigns for you as well using meta ads. That's another very effective strategy that we can deploy. So that's something as well we could do. But mainly what we mainly do for our clients is we do it via outbound marketing. So we set you up with our system, and I'll explain how we do that in a second. And then we use that to generate the new opportunities.
All right, that's fine. So as per the outbound, do you guys just do emails, or do you guys also do cold calling or LinkedIn outreach? Could you please just
Good question. So we primarily use email. We do have a LinkedIn outreach system as well if we did want to deploy that. We like email because it's more scalable and we can do more volume, and we can test and gather a lot more data and feedback versus doing just LinkedIn. Cold calling is another way too, but we automate the messages and we automate the outreach campaigns. So it's very effective in that sense, as we don't need, you don't need to go out and hire an SDR or a cold caller per se, in addition to what we're doing. So we just use cold email as the main mechanism to generate leads. And then what we do from there is we set those onto appointments. And we have an appointment setter who does that. So I can explain that here real quick. You're going to be working on this with me, where we're going to understand exactly what your product is, or what the offerings that you guys have are, what the main idea is behind this. Everything about your company you're going to put into here. This is for us to be able to learn about what it is that you guys do and be able to create campaigns based off of that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to outline the different verticals that we're looking to target. So, within healthcare tech, within maybe ed tech, within other industries, every single industry that you guys can help, we're going to outline that. We're going to be able to run campaigns individually to each of those industries. And then as well, we're going to be targeting the right decision makers within those companies, right? So who are the people within those businesses that this is going to be most relevant for? That's what we want to identify, and that's what we want to be able to then create messaging around to attract those people and get them interested in the outreach message. So this is going to be the first step in the process. It's what's known as our go-to-market setup. You're going to get full clarity. This is also going to give you full clarity on everything too, if that's something you need help with. We will outline the perfect customer profile, exactly who we're going to be targeting, each individual job title, and then each individual vertical, and we'll build out lists of those companies from each vertical that we'll be targeting.
Elaboration about the outbound. So could you please give me an elaboration about the inbound as well?
Yeah, so really with the inbound, it is a very similar process. We're going to start with the go-to-market setup. Instead of the tech, so you see here the tech setup includes setting up email accounts for outbound, but we're going to set up email accounts, secondary email accounts that we're going to put into a software called SmartLead to send out those campaigns automated via outbound. For inbound, it's basically we're going to set up your account in Meta ads. So we're going to set you up on Meta. And then from there, we're going to start creating campaigns and make sure the pixels set up correctly as well. And we're going to be building out your funnel. So that's going to consist of typically a video sales letter, a video sales letter page with the headline, and then a video sales letter describing what it is that you guys do. We're going to help you script this out, and then you're going to film this, and we're going to help you edit it. Then we want companies to book a call, right? So we would build this in. This would be, ideally we just use this as a landing page in your website. So we take your existing website and then we'll optimize it, or not your existing website, but we'll use one landing page within your website to do this, which that would be ideal. So we could set inbound up, or we could set the outreach campaigns up. A lot of our clients are just doing the outreach, but that's something we could do as well. And basically from here, it's the same thing. We're going to outline who exactly we're targeting, right? So in Meta, we're going to do the targeting strategy based off of who the best fit prospects are. Same thing with cold email. We're going to do the same thing. And then we are going to align the messaging to the market. And then we're going to write copy based off of that. With inbound, it's there's more work to do in that sense, because we have to write a VSL, and then we also have to make the landing pages, and we have to set up all the campaigns. With cold email, it's a bit simpler, where we just use the plain text emails and we write scripts, and those are going to elicit a direct response. So then you can take those calls and you can close them with your sales process. And we'll give you support in this as well. We have a lot of resources built out around running the sales process, but you're going to be able to then go close those customers with the sales process that you have in place.
Yep, that's fine. So just a quick question in terms of the qualified appointments. So in your experience, what's the biggest challenge in like booking qualified appointments, and how exactly do you address it?
For qualified appointments, the biggest thing is making sure that you have the right targeting when it comes to cold email. So we're going to be creating lists, and we're going to make sure that those lists do not have unqualified people on it based off of the criteria that you give us. Same thing with ads is we want to filter out for unqualified people. So we want to have disqualifications along the way to make sure that we're not getting people who aren't a good fit and are filling out our form to learn more. That's going to be the biggest thing. And that all comes down to the qualifications that right now that make a good fit for your client. So as specific as we can get, that's going to be the case. We don't want to get a bunch of quantity in and then have it be terrible quality. I'd rather have fewer prospects that are higher quality.
All right, that's completely fine. So following that, how would you address the MQL and SQL? For example, if I don't want the done for you system, and how would you address that? And if similarly, if I actually want the done for you system, how would you address the MQL and SQLs?
Are you saying if you don't want the done for you system, what do you have in mind as an alternative? Are you saying like we set everything up for you and you guys do it yourself? Or are you saying we don't set the appointments for you and you guys handle the leads?
So for example, on one scenario, if we proceed with I don't want the done for you system, right? So how would you qualify those leads? Would you give me the proper qualified leads, or would you give me those leads which might convert or might not?
So we're only going to set the appointments for you with qualified leads. Like those are we're going to only set appointments for you with leads that we know that are based off of the criteria are qualified. So we talk to them over email before we set them onto the appointment with you.
All right. So as per that, basically because you're talking to them, is there any possibility that you can give some sort of like a integration into the CRM that XYZ?
Absolutely. Very good question. Yeah. we would integrate directly into your CRM. We would add those MQLs into the CRM. And then once they convert into an MQL or into an SQL, it'll automatically move for you. So that's something we build in as well. That's a really good question. So all of that data would be put into your CRM. We're going to add all the MQLs, whether you're doing it from outbound or inbound. We're going to add those MQLs into your CRM. And then once they convert into a call, it'll automatically update into an SQL.
All right,
does that make sense?
Yep, that is completely perfect. So, how do you handle situations when a campaign isn't meeting expectations?
Oh, isn't meeting expectations? Yes. Well, not continue troubleshooting, and we're going to continue being proactive about what we're testing, and we're going to keep iterating until we find what works. And if there's a situation where we get to the point where we feel like it doesn't work and we feel like we've exhausted everything, then in that case we would not continue things. But that is something that we really want to stray away from, and we don't want to happen. As the biggest thing is we want to be proactive about testing. So we're going to be testing and creating new campaigns each week. And when it comes to ads, we have certain benchmarks in place and thresholds where if it gets to the point where we're not hitting KPIs from either outbound or inbound, then we will cut campaigns and create new ones and then keep iterating and testing. So it's a continuous process, and it really is something that we want to partner with you on, and we want to understand deeply your messaging and your value proposition, so we're able to create effective campaigns. But it's something that we're constantly updating and iterating on for our clients.
All right. Yep, that is completely fine. So, following that, so how do you measure the effectiveness of your lead generation campaigns, and what metrics are the most important towards you?
Yep, good question. So the biggest thing is how many qualified booked calls we're getting. At the end of the day, if all the other metrics don't really matter, what matters is, are we getting leads in, and then how many of those leads are converting into calls? And then from those calls, how many of those calls are actually converting into clients, and are we closing new business from it? That is going to show the effectiveness of what we're doing. But really, it comes down to how many qualified calls we're getting per week. That's going to be the main metric here. Leads are more of a vanity metric than calls. We want qualified calls. That's going to show success. And then from there, we want those qualified calls to be closing and to have opportunities to close.
All right. So, yep, another question. So, how would you differentiate yourself from the other competitors in the lead generation space? Because there's like tons of competitors out there in the market.
Very good question. So I think the biggest thing is what we're focused on and the way that we operate with our clients. Like I said, we want to be business growth partners for you. We would rather work with fewer clients that are higher quality, that we know we can really help generate new business for and have a great return on investment for, than have to go get new clients, every 2 to 3 months, like a lot of other agencies do. So our biggest thing is, how can we maximize the value of the client that we have and the client relationship that we have? Because that ultimately is going to get us the case study that we're looking for too, which is what our goal is at this point in time, is we want to take on opportunities that can bring us case studies. So I would say that's the biggest differentiator. And then what we're focused on, we want to bring you qualified calls, sales opportunities, and we want you to close those into deals. And if that's not happening, if the revenue is not being generated, then it's pretty unsuccessful. And that's what our focus is. So we're not just focused on getting traffic or optimizing your website or, getting you leads in. It's how can we get you qualified calls that have an opportunity to close into deals? And then how do we solve, if there's any bottlenecks in the sales process, how do we solve those bottlenecks? So we're looking at the holistic customer acquisition system, and we want to optimize each stage of the process so we can generate new revenue. That's really what the goal. And if we're not doing that, then it's not successful.
Yep, another question that actually hopped in my mind. So just in terms of the email, since you've stated the main focus is to go for the email outreach. So typically to generate, for example, 20 calls over the period of 6 months, I believe, how much emails would you send out to prospects?
But let's definitely run through the numbers on that, because basically what we're looking for is a 0.4 to 0.6% MQL rate. So we would just reverse engineer what the numbers on that would look like. So for 20 calls, for example, that would be sending 4,000 emails.
All right, perfect.
Or contacting 4,000 prospects.
Yep, that's completely fine.
Not necessarily sending 4,000 emails, but it's contacting 4,000 prospects. Put them into sequences. and contact them. And then after we contact 4,000 of them, we would aim to get those 20 calls booked out of four of those 4,000 prospects from your target market. Does that make sense?
Yep. So 4,000 prospects over the period of 6 months, right?
It doesn't have to be over the period of 6 months. It could be over the period of 1 month. It just depends. We would have to look into that as well and how long we do the sequences for. But typically that would be over the course of, usually a couple months.
All right, that's completely fine.